finally happening. The date is November 28th, 2025. Today is not just another ordinary Thursday on your calendar. It is a cosmic threshold, a spiritual checkpoint, a day when the veils between realms grow thin, and every word you speak carries weight far beyond what your mind can comprehend. In the grand rhythm of universal alignments, there are days that act as mirrors, amplifiers, and tests. Today is one of them. You may have already sensed something shifting in the days leading up to this moment. Perhaps conversations have felt heavier than usual. Maybe you've noticed yourself biting your tongue more often, holding back words that once would have flowed freely. There's been a pressure building in your chest, a knowing that something significant is unfolding. Even casual exchanges seem to echo with unexpected intensity, leaving traces that linger in your energy field long after the words have been spoken. These are not random occurrences. They are divine signals, preparing you for what November 28th truly represents. For the chosen ones, those who walk with heightened awareness, those attuned to the subtle frequencies that most cannot perceive, today carries a rare and potent intensity. The energy surrounding communication is not flowing as it normally does. It is charged, volatile, magnetic, and dangerous. Even the most innocent comment, the most well-intentioned advice, the most casual observation can trigger waves of consequence that ripple far beyond what you intend. To ignore this is to risk spiritual entanglement, energetic confusion, and misalignment at the very core of your being. Understand this clearly. November 28th is not about fear, but about reverence. It is a sacred pause in the cosmic dance, a day when you are being asked, no commanded, by the universe to guard your words, to protect your energy, to honor the delicate spiritual recalibration happening not just within you, but in the collective consciousness itself. Most people will treat today as ordinary, speaking carelessly, reacting impulsively, scattering their words like seeds in a storm. But you are not most people. You were guided to this message because you are meant to understand this truth and embody it. This is why November 28th, 2025 is not just another day. It is a test of spiritual maturity, a separation of the conscious from the unconscious, a mirror reflecting back to you exactly where you stand in your mastery. And if you listen deeply, you will realize that this warning is also a profound gift, an opportunity to protect what is sacred, to strengthen your spiritual authority, and to step forward into December with greater clarity and power than ever before. Stay with me until the very end of this message, because the most important revelation comes at the close. And if these words are already stirring something deep within your soul, if you feel the truth of what I'm saying resonating in your bones, type 111 in the comments right now, as a sign that you are aligned with this cosmic truth and ready to honor what today demands of you. November 28th, 2025, carries a vibrational signature, unlike any other day this month. While the masses move through it unconsciously, those who are spiritually awake recognize this as a moment of profound testing. But here's what you must understand. The test does not come from external circumstances or challenges thrown at you by the universe. The test comes through your own mouth, through the words you choose to speak or choose to hold back, through your ability to remain silent when every fiber of your being wants to react, explain, defend, or convince. Think carefully about the past several days. Have you noticed unusual tension in your communications? Perhaps someone misunderstood your meaning more severely than the situation warranted. Maybe a simple text message sparked an unexpectedly emotional response. Or perhaps you felt an unusual urge to speak your mind, to finally say what you've been holding back, to confront, to clarify, to set things straight. These impulses are not random. They are precursors, energetic signatures, alerting you that something much larger is aligning in the cosmic field. On November 28th, words are not neutral carriers of meaning. They are loaded weapons. They are spells. They are creative forces that shape reality with multiplied power. Imagine that today, the volume on your voice has been turned up 100-fold, not in sound, but in energetic impact. What you say casually will be received intensely. What you mean lightly will be felt heavily. What you intend as helpful will often be perceived as hurtful. This is not because people are being overly sensitive. It is because the energetic frequency of communication itself has been amplified to an extreme degree. This amplification serves a purpose. The universe is not playing games with you. When days like this arrive, they arrive with divine intention. Today is a mirror, revealing the true state of your self-control, your spiritual discipline, your energetic sovereignty. It shows you whether you have truly mastered your tongue, or whether your tongue still masters you. And this is why you are being warned. Hold back, observe, breathe, and allow this day to pass without adding your voice to the chaos. Do not dismiss the signs you have already encountered. Maybe an argument erupted from nowhere with someone you care about. Maybe you felt compelled to send a message that, upon reflection, carried more edge than you intended. Maybe you've noticed yourself rehearsing conversations in your mind, preparing speeches, building cases for why you're right and others are wrong. These are red flags waving in your consciousness, alerting you that your tongue is restless, that your words are seeking release, that the energy wants to flow through you. But today is not the day to let it flow. Today is the day to dam it up, to contain it, to transmute it internally before it ever reaches your lips. The warning is not about silence as punishment. It is not about suppressing your truth or denying your voice. It is about timing. It is about recognizing that there are moments when speaking diminishes your power, and there are moments when silence amplifies it. November 28th is the latter. Every word you do not speak today is a deposit in your spiritual bank account. Every reaction you swallow is a victory over the lower self. Every time you choose restraint over expression, you are proving to the universe that you are ready for greater responsibility, greater influence, greater manifestation power. So stay with me, because in just a moment I will reveal the deeper energetic mechanics of why this day holds such potency and what is truly at stake when you choose to speak or choose to stay silent. Chosen ones, understand this with absolute clarity. Today, the energetic field surrounding human communication is not operating under normal conditions. It has been destabilized, amplified, and rendered extraordinarily volatile. And when energy becomes this sensitive, even the smallest verbal gesture sends shock waves through the invisible realms, with consequences that extend far beyond what your physical senses can detect. You see, every word you speak is more than sound waves traveling through air. Every sentence you form is an energetic transmission, a vibrational packet of intention, emotion, belief, and power. When you speak, you are not merely conveying information, you are casting energy into the field, shaping reality, influencing outcomes, affecting the consciousness of everyone within range of your voice. On most days, this process happens gently, subtly, almost invisibly. But on days like November 28th, the process is magnified exponentially. The volume is turned up, the impact is multiplied, and the consequences, both positive and negative, arrive with shocking speed. This is why we say, hold your tongue. Not because your voice doesn't matter, not because your truth isn't valid, but because sacred energetic boundaries are being rewritten today. Imagine you are standing in a room filled with highly flammable gas. Normally, you can light a match without concern. But in this room, one spark could cause an explosion. That is what the energetic atmosphere is like on November 28th. One careless word, one reactive statement, one emotionally charged sentence can ignite conflicts, misunderstandings, and karmic entanglements that will take weeks or even months to untangle. Think back over the past week. Have you noticed increased sensitivity in yourself or others? Have small comments triggered disproportionately large reactions? Have you felt misunderstood more often than usual, as if your words are being twisted or distorted before they even reach the other person's ears? This is the build-up, the spiritual preparation, the universe aligning you for the intensity of today. And if you've been feeling this pressure mounting, know that it reaches its peak right now, on November 28th. But here is the hidden blessing, the gift wrapped inside the warning. When you choose restraint, when you honor the silence instead of filling it with words, you allow the energies to settle, to recalibrate, to realign naturally without interference. This is an act of profound spiritual wisdom, not weakness. It is a choice that says, I trust the process more than I trust my need to be heard. I value alignment more than I value being right. I honor divine timing more than I honor my impulse to react. Many people will not understand this. They will speak freely today, defending their right to expression, insisting that silence is dishonesty or suppression. But those who are awake, the chosen ones, are called to walk a different path, to recognize that true power is not found in having the last word, but in knowing when to withhold words altogether. To understand that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and others is to say nothing at all, and yes, this will test you deeply. The urge to speak, to explain, to defend, to clarify, to correct will rise like a wave inside you. You may feel misunderstood, dismissed, or silenced by circumstance. You may feel frustration building as you watch others misinterpret situations or spread false narratives. Every cell in your body may scream for you to set the record straight. But remember, this is the test. This is the initiation. Your ability to remain silent in the face of provocation is the measure of your spiritual maturity. Today is a mirror. If anger rises when you are not heard, it reveals your attachment to validation. If anxiety appears when you cannot explain yourself, it reveals your need for control. If resentment builds when others speak, and you must stay silent, it reveals your ego's demand for recognition. Do not project these feelings outward. Do not blame others for triggering them. They are yours to observe, to feel, to integrate, and to transcend. So take this seriously. Today is not ordinary. Today is sacred. And every choice you make, whether to speak, to text, to post, to comment, or to hold back, will create energetic ripples that extend far beyond these 24 hours. The question is not, will you feel the pressure to speak? The question is, will you master the pressure, or will you be mastered by it? Chosen ones, the universe does not place this weight on your shoulders without reason. It knows you are capable. It knows you are ready. That is why you are hearing these words right now, in this exact moment. Now understand that what is unfolding today is part of a much larger cosmic pattern, a divine algorithm unfolding across time and space. Every soul walking this earth is moving through cycles, and each cycle carries specific lessons, specific tests, specific initiations. November, particularly as it draws toward its close, is a month of culmination and preparation. Seeds planted in thought, word, and deed throughout the year are now bearing fruit. Some of that fruit is sweet, affirming, nourishing. Some is bitter, confronting, forcing you to see what you have been avoiding. But both types of fruit are necessary for your growth. November 28th marks a razor's edge within this cycle, a threshold where those harvests reveal themselves with startling clarity. This is not only about your communication with others, it is about your internal dialogue with yourself. The words you speak aloud are merely echoes of the words you speak silently within your own mind. And on a day like today, when the amplification is at its peak, even your thoughts carry unusual weight. That is why today feels heavier, more intense, more charged with potential danger and potential breakthrough simultaneously. The universe is saying, watch not only your mouth, but your mind. Consider this truth. How often do you speak simply to fill the silence? How often do you offer your opinion, not because it is needed, but because you are uncomfortable with not being heard? How often do you rush to explain, justify, or defend yourself when the most powerful response would be none at all? On most days, these are small unconscious habits. But today, these habits can create storms in your spiritual atmosphere. That is why restraint is not just recommended. It is essential. There is another layer at play here. Spiritual interference. The forces that oppose your awakening, your clarity, your ascension, whether you call them negative entities, lower frequencies, or simply unconscious energies, are always seeking opportunities to create chaos in the lives of the chosen ones. And one of their favorite entry points is through your words. When you speak from anger, fear, or ego, you open a doorway. When you argue, accuse, or attack verbally, you create a crack in your energetic field. And on a day like November 28th, When the veils are thin and the energies are volatile, those cracks can become chasms. This is why silence is not passivity, it is protection. By holding your tongue, you are sealing your field. You are refusing to give the lower frequencies an entry point. You are maintaining your sovereignty in the face of provocation. And that sovereignty is worth more than any argument you could win, any point you could prove, any person you could convince. Do not let this discourage you. Instead, let it empower you. Understand that the boundary you maintain today is not a prison, it is a fortress. By guarding your words, you are allowing the divine to work on your behalf without interference from your ego. You are creating space for clarity to emerge naturally, without forcing it through explanation or defense. You are trusting that truth does not need your voice to be validated. It validates itself over time. And what of self-expression? Many of you may be wondering, if I cannot speak my truth, am I not betraying myself? The answer is nuanced, but essential. There is a difference between authentic expression and reactive discharge. Authentic expression comes from a place of centeredness, clarity, and alignment. It is measured, intentional, and rooted in love. Reactive discharge comes from a place of hurt, fear, and ego. It is impulsive, defensive, and rooted in separation. Today the risk is that what feels like authentic expression is actually reactive discharge in disguise. And the consequences of that mistake are severe. November 28th is an initiation into higher self-expression. It is the universe asking you, can you hold your truth without needing to speak it? Can you know what you know without needing others to agree? Can you stand in your power without needing to prove it through words? These are not small questions. They are the questions that separate spiritual infants from spiritual adults. Some of you will pass this test with grace and ease. Others will stumble, speaking when you should have stayed silent, reacting when you should have paused. But even in stumbling, there is learning. For the truth is, the energy of this day will not destroy what is real within you. It will only burn away what is false, what is fragile, what is built on the need for external validation rather than internal knowing. If a relationship is damaged by your silence today, it was already fragile. If a connection is lost because you chose not to defend yourself, it was not built on solid ground. But if a bond endures your restraint, if trust deepens through your patience, know this, it is real, and it will only grow stronger in the days ahead. This is the hidden gift of November 28th. You are not being asked to stay silent forever. You are being asked to recognize the sacredness of timing. The energy of today is like wet clay. Mold it too soon, and it collapses. Give it time to set, and it becomes something strong, beautiful, unbreakable. Your words are the same. Speak them prematurely, and they scatter without impact. Hold them until the time is right, and they will land with power, precision, and undeniable truth. Chosen ones, this is your call. Step into mastery. Step into restraint. Do not let fear of being misunderstood push you into explanation. Do not let the discomfort of silence drive you into filling it with noise. The power is in your stillness, your discipline, your trust in divine timing. By honoring this day, you are proving to the universe and to yourself that you are ready for the next level of spiritual authority. There is something else you must grasp about November 28th. It exposes hidden dynamics that have been lurking beneath the surface of your relationships and within yourself. The words you have swallowed, the truths you have avoided speaking, the resentments you thought were resolved, all of it rises to the surface today, demanding acknowledgement. This is why the atmosphere feels thick, why tensions seem to appear out of nowhere, why even people who are normally calm seem edgy and reactive. It is not their fault, nor is it punishment from the universe. It is illumination. What has been hidden is now being revealed. You are not meant to run from this revelation, nor are you meant to force it into premature resolution through words. The teaching here is observation without interference. When emotions rise, when the urge to speak burns in your chest, when silence feels unbearable, you are being asked to breathe and simply witness, to recognize that what you are feeling is information, not instruction. Feeling something does not mean you must act on it. Sensing tension does not mean you must resolve it immediately. Sometimes the greatest healing happens not through confrontation, but through patient presence. November 28th is like a magnifying glass placed over your soul. It enlarges everything, both the light and the shadow. What you have been avoiding becomes unavoidable. What you have been denying becomes undeniable. And while this can feel intensely uncomfortable, it is also profoundly liberating. For once you see clearly, you cannot return to unconsciousness. Awareness, once gained, cannot be unlearned. And that is the true gift of this day, enforced awareness. Do not underestimate the spiritual power of your restraint. By choosing not to speak, you create a sacred pause, a gap in the usual pattern of stimulus and response. And in that gap, transformation occurs. In that silence, the divine can enter and rearrange what would otherwise collapse into conflict or confusion. Most people will not recognize this opportunity. They will rush to fill the silence with explanations, justifications, accusations. But the chosen ones are different. You are being trained to master the gap, to honor the pause, to trust the process unfolding in the unseen realms. This path is not easy. It demands a level of self-control that feels almost superhuman at times. It requires you to override ancient survival instincts that scream defend yourself. When you feel attacked, it asks you to sit with the discomfort of being misunderstood, misrepresented, or dismissed. But every time you choose awareness over impulse, you shift your entire energetic signature. You rise above patterns that have repeated for lifetimes. You step into a frequency where words are no longer weapons or shields, but sacred tools used only when truly necessary. And remember this, the universe does not issue warnings lightly. If you are receiving this message, it is because you are being prepared for something significant. Your tongue is one of the most powerful instruments you possess. It can create or destroy, heal or wound, uplift or devastate. And on November 28th, its power is magnified to a degree that most cannot comprehend. That is why you must guard it as you would guard a loaded weapon. Not out of fear, but out of respect for its potential. When you succeed in this restraint, you will notice something remarkable begin to shift. The relationships that felt strained will start to feel lighter. The conversations that seemed impossible will begin to resolve themselves without your intervention. The misunderstandings that plagued you will start to clear up on their own, as if an invisible hand is smoothing out the wrinkles you were tempted to iron out with words. This is because you are no longer interfering with the natural flow of resolution. You are allowing divine timing to work its magic. The energy of November 28th is not here to silence your voice permanently. It is here to refine your relationship with that voice, to teach you that speaking is not always strength, and silence is not always weakness. To show you that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. To train you in the art of discernment, knowing when to speak and when to hold, when to engage and when to withdraw, when to explain and when to simply be. So allow this day to unfold without forcing your will upon it. Allow tensions to rise and fall without rushing to smooth them over with words. Allow misunderstandings to exist temporarily, without immediately correcting them. Your task is not to control the day's energy, but to remain centered within it. To be the calm within the storm, the stillness within the chaos, the silence within the noise. This is the mastery you are being called into. There is yet another dimension to this day that must be brought into the light: spiritual vulnerability. The heightened communicative energy of November 28th does not only affect your relationships with others, it also leaves you more exposed to energies and influences from realms you cannot see with physical eyes. When your throat chakra is this activated, when the urge to speak is this strong, you become a more open channel. And while this openness can allow divine guidance to flow through you with greater clarity, it can also make you susceptible to frequencies of confusion, deception, and manipulation. This is why discernment is absolutely critical today. Every word that wants to come out of your mouth must be examined before release. Ask yourself, is this coming from my higher self, or is it coming from my wounded ego? Is this truth speaking, or is it fear disguised as truth? Is this clarity, Or is it the confusion of overwhelm seeking expression? These questions are your spiritual filters, and on November 28th, you must use them rigorously. The chosen ones are always tested more intensely than others. Where unconscious people can speak carelessly without major consequence, you are held to a higher standard. This is not to burden you, but to prepare you. The greater your spiritual gifts, the greater your responsibility to wield them wisely, and speech. The power of the spoken word is one of the greatest gifts you possess. It is literally a creative force. You speak, and reality responds. You declare, and the universe rearranges itself to match your declaration. That is how powerful you are. And that is why, on a day when that power is amplified beyond measure, you must exercise extreme caution. Signs will accompany you throughout this day. You may notice repeating numbers like 111, 222, or 444, reminding you that you are being watched over, guided, protected. You may hear a phrase repeated multiple times from different sources, confirming that a particular message is meant for you. You may feel sudden urges to speak that, upon deeper reflection, reveal themselves as tests rather than true guidance. Pay attention to these signs. They are confirmations that you are walking in alignment, and they are warnings when you are about to step out of alignment. Patience is your greatest ally today. The energy of November 28th demands that you slow down, that you pause before reacting, that you breathe before responding. This does not make you passive or weak. It makes you powerful. It makes you deliberate. It makes you a conscious creator rather than an unconscious reactor. And in a world where most people are trapped in reactive patterns, your conscious restraint marks you as someone who has transcended the ordinary and stepped into the extraordinary. Remember, the tallest trees are not those that shoot up overnight. They are those that grow slowly, sinking their roots deep into the earth before reaching toward the sky. Today is about roots. It is about grounding your energy so deeply in truth, in clarity, in divine alignment, that no storm of words, no tempest of emotions, no hurricane of misunderstanding can uproot you. If you can embody this groundedness today, tomorrow you will rise taller, clearer, freer than ever before. You may be wondering, what if I fail? What if I lose my temper and say something I regret? What if I cannot hold my tongue and end up creating the very conflict I was warned against? Hear this clearly. The universe is not waiting to punish you for your mistakes. Every stumble is an opportunity to learn. Every misstep is an invitation to course correct. The only true failure is to ignore the lesson entirely and continue speaking unconsciously day after day. But even if you falter today, grace will meet you. The path will open again. You will have another chance. Still, today offers you a rare opportunity to demonstrate that you are ready to operate at a higher level of consciousness. Do not waste it. Do not dismiss it as superstition or exaggeration. The chosen ones who honor this day will move into December with a clarity, a power, and a momentum that those who ignored the warning will not possess. This is not about superiority. It is about readiness. And readiness is always rewarded. November 28th is not here to frighten you. It is here to elevate you, to call you out of unconscious patterns and into deliberate creation, to remind you that your words are not throwaway sounds, but sacred seeds that grow into the reality you will inhabit tomorrow. It is here to show you that silence can be a statement, that restraint can be a revelation, and that sometimes the most profound communication happens without a single word being spoken. Chosen ones, take this message deeply into your being. Do not brush it aside. Do not rationalize it away. For what you embody today will create echoes that reverberate for weeks and months to come. Your silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. Your restraint is not repression, it is mastery. Your choice to hold your tongue is not defeat, it is victory over the lower self that believes it must always be heard. And as the final hours of November 28th unfold, remember this sacred truth: you are not alone in this test. Every chosen one across the globe is feeling this same intensity, facing this same challenge, being called into this same level of mastery. You are part of a collective awakening, a worldwide shift in consciousness, where those who are ready are being separated from those who remain asleep. Your silence today is not isolation. It is solidarity with every awakened soul who understands that true power lies not in having the last word, but in knowing when words are unnecessary. When midnight comes and November 28th passes into history, take a moment to honor yourself. Whether you held your tongue perfectly or stumbled along the way, acknowledge that you received the warning and you tried. That awareness alone has shifted something within you that can never be undone. You have seen behind the veil. You have glimpsed the mechanics of how words create reality, and that knowledge will serve you for the rest of your life. As December dawns, you will notice something extraordinary. The words you did not speak today will have created space for something far greater to emerge. Relationships that felt strained will begin healing without explanation. Clarity will arrive where confusion once lived. Doors will open that your words might have closed. This is the magic of divine timing, the power of sacred restraint. So carry this lesson forward, chosen one. Let November 28th be the day you learned that your greatest strength is not your ability to speak, but your wisdom in knowing when to stay silent. Let it be the day you prove to yourself, to the universe, and to every force watching your journey that you are ready for greater responsibility, greater influence, greater manifestation power. The test is complete. The initiation is finished. You have been marked, refined, and elevated. Now step into your future with the quiet confidence of someone who has mastered their tongue, trusted the process, and emerged victorious. Your words, when they finally do come, will carry a weight and authority they never had before, because now they will be born not from reaction, but from revelation, not from fear, but from faith, not from ego, but from essence. This is who you are becoming. This is your ascension. Welcome to the next level, chosen one. You have earned your place here,